So this brewery was founded in 1996 by brother-in-laws Adam Firestone and David Walker in California. So this do start brewing amazing beer like Parabola, Sucaba, Double DBA, Wookey Jack Stickee Monkee, and a around-the-year line that makes any aficionado to smile. So good evening, everybody. It's time for Friday Night Hangout, and today we'll taste some beers from Firestone Walker Brewing Company and Barrel Works. If you want to learn more about Craft Beer Nation, just check our website, craftbeernation.beer.org.com, or check our YouTube channel, Craft Beer Nation. Also, make sure to watch our show, Pints and Quarts, every Thursday, and you can watch afterward on YouTube channel as well. So how is everybody doing tonight?
Doing well, man. How are you?
I have some good friends with me here. Randy Gardner Jr., Freddie Rodriguez, Linda Dean, and Rick Potts. So I don't know about you, but this is one of my favorite breweries. And I know Rick and I are going to have problems tonight. I can tell you right now. I'll start with you, Linda. Tell me what's your view about, before you talk about your beer, let's see what you guys think. What's your opinion on Firestone Walker?
I think they don't get enough beers, different beers, up here to Oregon. Seriously. I think we get maybe 4 different types, and that includes the box. And that's all we get. That's it. That's all I've seen.
Wow.
Other than that, I mean, they're as a company, I think they're pretty good.
I don't get a lot of their big selection here. I normally have to get from somebody else, or when I'm on the road, we only get most of their year-round stuff.
I gotta get lucky to get their big releases, or their limited releases.
It seems that way, like over here in the East. It seems like that's a common theme. In Boston, we get like most, I would say, close to everything, but it's very small quantities, even at the biggest and like well-known bottle shops. They'll have limited amounts of these things. Of the big, like you said, the big series, the big boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think now with they being part of the whole Duvel Morga, I can't pronounce that word, family, like with Boulevard and things. Although they say they're a little different, their situation, a little different than Ommegang and Boulevard, but they still, a lot of investment money in there because of the demand. And I wonder with their new facility, if we're going to start seeing more of the, stuff other than their just year-round beers.
I'll say this, since we're talking about Firestone Walker, and you just mentioned Duvel, I feel 100% okay with them being 50% owned. Was it 50% owned by Duvel?
No, I don't think it was that much there on their case. I think Duvel just invests money. It was not disclosed how much.
Because I see it as like it's a horse of a different color when it comes to them versus what was it the other day, Lagunitas and Heineken, because I mean Duvel is as Belgian craft as you can get. Well, craft period, right?
Their beer takes longer to make it than 90% of the beers made by craft brewers in the U.S. Like they don't let it get out of the brewery until they find it's to the par.
Yep.
I think if they hadn't thrown in with Duvel, they would have been ripe for a discussion with somebody else that would have been completely unacceptable.
Well, it's just that I kind of find better this way than take money from an investment fund or
a private investment firm.
Or some money like that is looking more into the bottom line, right? It's different when you're getting a brewery invest on you, and I mean they let Ommegang do their own stuff. They never
That's
touch
what I was
it.
gonna say. Like Boulevard's still producing what they produce, so it's not like you don't see a change in the beer itself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the quality of the beer hasn't changed.
Yeah, and Omega is they own it from the beginning. They own,
Yeah.
so it's yeah. Again, I always say this. My problem is not with big breweries or breweries become big. My problem is always with practice. Business practice. This is where my problem lies. For me, it doesn't need to be BA. I love Brewers Association, but a brewery doesn't need to fit on the BA's guideline for me to enjoy it. The problem is bad beer and bad business practice, and that's what I don't like. I mean,
Yeah.
Founders is not considered craft brewery anymore by BA guidelines. But man,
Dumb.
I just that's an amazing brewery there.
And
Here's
it's
the
craft. I mean, it's craft to me, and it's craft to somebody that doesn't know. I mean, somebody that drinks Bud Light, Founders is craft. I mean,
here's the thing about the Brewers Association's definition that kind of gets in my craw. 25%, but that's I mean, what is that based off of? Had they said 30% initially, Founders would be considered craft.
Mhm.
What's the basis of coming up with 25%? Why 25%? Why not 26? Why not 24? Why not 30? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would like to know how they set that particular number to begin with, because there's no reason in God's green that Founders should not be considered a craft. And I kind of feel the same way about the Founders deal as I do about the Firestone and Walker deal, because was it Gil? What is it called? San Miguel Mahu or something like that.
Yeah.
That's another family-owned brewery, the oldest in Spain or whatever, right? So, I mean, that's not selling out to me.
Right. Well, back to Firestone Walker. Tell us how you feel about the brewerage, Randy.
I love Firestone Walker. I mean, they make one of probably my favorite barley wine ever in Sucaba. I mean, and their normal offerings are awesome. Double Jack, Wookey Jack, Pivot Pills. I think it's called Pale 31 or something like that. I mean, all of their regular rotation beers are all solid. I mean, I've never had a bad beer from them, but I've had some beer from them that maybe didn't live up to the expectation I had set for them. But I mean, it's always been everything that I've had from them have been brewed, I think, according to what they were probably shooting to go for.
It's because their portfolio is so big that's hard to make every single beer good, right? Sorry, go ahead, Doug.
Yeah.
What's up?
What's up?
I thought Doug was about to say something.
Awkward silence.
yeah. What's up?
What about you, Freddie?
Jesse.
It's almost the same thing Randy said. I like Firestone Walker. I like. Everyone knows I'm a fan of the bigger beers. Some of the barrel aging stuff and the stouts and the barley wines and even the quad. I'm a big fan of Stickee Monkee, Sucaba, Parabola. You know what I mean? So those beers I enjoy. They're easier to grab beers. Like you said, the Easy Jack stuff. Everything's pretty solid. Again, like not to harp on it. Sometimes you wish you're able to get some more. Easier if it's easier for you to grab some of the bigger stuff. Like Stickee Monkee this year for me was I had to go do my thing to get it. You know what I mean? I couldn't grab it. It was gone within minutes of it releasing at the bottle shop. And that's not Firestone Walker's fault for that happening. They're making a good product, so it sells quick. But,
Stickee Monkey's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
But on the other side, it's like, what do you expect when you have like 4 bottles? People are gonna.
It's one of the few beers that are on the sweet side that I kind of enjoy.
Oh, it's so good.
Aren't they gonna isn't this the deal they had with Duvel is gonna are they gonna I could have sworn I read something about them being able to have more capital to do more barrel aging and stuff like that. So that means like more Sucaba for us and more Parabola, more Stickee Monkee.
That's kind of that. The problem is they invest. I don't remember if it's $30 million at the time. So they invest ton of money in it in order to have their barrel work side to have
Mhm.
better space, get more barrel. But at one point,
Mhm.
the expense got so big, they decide, we need to inject money into the company, because they have to find that money somewhere. Yeah, so I guess that conversation has been there for a while. But I think he said on one of the interview that they just spend so much money expanding that uh, they need to get help from outside.
Yeah.
Well, I know I was happy when I started seeing their regulars come out in cans. That was nice.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. Don't they put uh their session beer in cans as well?
Yeah, they have a bunch of different offerings in cans
Pilsner
now
comes in
that I've
cans, I
seen.
believe.
Which is a really good session beer, I must say that. Easy Jack.
Easy
Easy
Goes
Jack.
Jack.
down
Yeah.
easy.
I will say though, when it comes to Firestone Walker, I'm probably the minority in thinking that their big beers are some of the better beers. Um, while I do enjoy things like Parabola and Sucaba, I feel that there's better things elsewhere. But when it comes to like their kind of year-round stuff, like their Union Jack and their Double Jack, I think those beers kind of can hang up to, stand up to anything else out there of that style.
Yeah,
I,
isn't that the sign of a sorry, Ricky? Isn't that the sign of a good brewery? Like when their year-round beers are solid and good, because you can always change your barrel series. You can always make something crazy here and there, right?
Yeah.
And you can get crazy about those beers, but I
I mean,
think
as much as I like barrel-aged beers, I feel like sometimes like barrels, what a beer that may or may not have been good beforehand, you put it in a barrel and all of a sudden,
Sure. Yeah.
it tastes fantastic because it was in a bourbon barrel. So I think, the non-barrel aged versions are more of a kind of a true representation of what a brewery is.
Mhm.
yeah, I'd agree with that 100%. And talking about my minorities, I'm definitely the minority in this next couple of comments. So I am a huge fan of their basic releases, their Easy Jack and Wookey Jack and like all the stuff that you can get. I mean, I feel bad for the people in the room that can't get a lot, if not all, of their beers always, because it's almost here everything is always on the shelf, and the limited release stuff is harder to get, but it's not that hard. Like so, Merkin hit store shelves on Monday. It's still pretty easy to come by. Like you just got to go to Whole Foods, or I mean, it's everywhere. And I almost think they're like the Sucabas in the boxed stuff. And I've got a boxed beer for tonight, and I think that to me personally, there's so much hype over those beers. The Pivo Pils sits on the shelf and collects dust, and that beer wins gold medals at GABF year over year over year because it is a fantastic beer. But then you rush to get the Sucaba. You rush, and I'm so mad they stopped making double DBA because double DBA was
Ah,
probably one of
yes.
my favorite ones.
Apart from their anniversary beers, the double DBA is my favorite one that comes in a box from them,
Yeah.
hands down.
I
Yeah,
have I
and
have like a 13 bottle.
I forgot about that.
it's so good. And Sticky Monkey is fantastic. But then, like people, I mean, and people in this room have already mentioned like Sucabas, and like they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're good. I rate them high, and I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to try them. But I don't think as much attention they get and the rush to get them even here where they're readily available. Really, I mean, yeah, they're limited, but you can easily get a bottle of any of them when they come out. I just feel like there's more weight put on the limited release stuff than their daily release stuff, when their daily release stuff is just as, if not better, than their limited stuff. And
I mean, but isn't that normally the case though, Ricky? You don't think? I mean, with breweries, I mean, if you have regular access to the things that they normally put out, if their limited releases are just that limited, and that it's definitely the case for Firestone Walker for us on the East Coast,
mhm.
then there's naturally going to be a clamor for those beers, right? I mean, like
Right, but
Freddie said, this place only got 4 bottles of Parabola.
Well, I think too for Firestone Walker, I don't necessarily think it's a production standpoint. It's something I think is the way that their things are distributed. Because, I mean, if you look at the bottles of like Sucaba and Parabola, it has like the amount that they make. I mean, it's a pretty large amount of beer.
Mm-hmm.
But like you were saying, like I mean now, I haven't seen Parabola or Sucaba on the shelf here in 2 years.
I've never seen them on the shelves.
I came across a store maybe like back in maybe 2010, 2011 it was, that had 4 bottles of Parabola, and I bought all 4 bottles of them. And then I went to a grocery store like the next year, and they had Sucaba, or I guess it was Abacus still at that point in time. I bought like 4 bottles of it, and it was only like $12.99 or something crazy. And now it's just like you never see it.
The problem with the barrel ages right now is like price is through the roof. Everybody's doing barrels, and like Firestone Walker distributed to 22 states, right? And then you hit states like California or Virginia or Pennsylvania that has a bottle shop. Like any little town has a bottle shop. How you get everybody, getting enough beer? I think it's difficult. I don't think, even if they enlarge the production, you might see more on the shelves, but I think it's going to still be a thin out thing coming to the East Coast.
Well, that's the problem with where I am, is because I'm not in a major metropolitan area. Like things that come to Virginia kind of go to Randy's neck of the woods and then trickle down to like the Richmond area of Virginia, and then whatever scraps are left over trickle down to us common folks down here in the rural Virginia.
I think though it also goes to show you how because we're at a time now where like you said, like Velvet Merkin and Parabola, some people say, well, they're good, they're not like the best out there, which it's easy to say, you know what I mean, now that there's so many breweries making the same style beers and they're barrel aging beers, etc. as well. But that's not to say that the beers, like you said, no knock against Firestone Walker, it may not be the best, but that goes to show you that, okay, they're distributed all pretty much nationwide, let's say, right? You can go both coasts, and people clamor to get, go to a bottle shop to get 4 boxes that are available, see who gets there first, you know what I mean? That goes to show you that they're doing something right, and as far as like, they make so many different styles, and you don't hear somebody say, well, Stickee Monkee sucks. You never hear that kind of thing, you know what I mean?
And
where you can do the same thing for other breweries, unfortunately. Like, you don't see people going like Kentucky bourbon or whatever, Kentucky bourbon ales, they're all barrel aged for 2 days in bourbon barrels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
kind of the barrel to the beer.
It's got a hole in the top and a hole in the bottom. And
I know who you're talking about. You're about Lexington Tech Brewing Company, right? It's
Alltech.
Yeah.
Alltech.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
So here, Freddie, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
To what Doug said, Doug, you said you don't think it's a production thing. I disagree, because Firestone Walker essentially has a national footprint as it relates to production. And in 2014, they brewed like 151,000 barrels of beer. So they're not as big as they are perceived to be. I mean, they're not pumping out 800,000 barrels a year, not even 250,000 barrels a year. They put out 151,000 barrels in 2014, of which a lot of the stuff that we're talking about are barrel aged. So those things are definitely going to be limited in quantity, because that it takes real estate to barrel age those beers, while they're still putting out Double Jack, Wookey Jack, Easy Jack, their regular DBA, Pivo pills, all that stuff. So I think it is a production thing when it comes to like their box or their proprietor series or whatever it's called.
They have a bigger production in barrels than brewers that are much bigger than they are.
Somebody can pull out a box and see what anybody that's got a box beer tonight. Look on the label; it tells you how many cases I believe they make of each one. But I feel like it's a pretty, like, compared to other barrel aged beers, I feel like it's a pretty substantial number.
Well,
Where does it say that?
It should be on the front of your bottle. It should be on the front of the bottle.
So, Gil, if you want to get into the beers, I don't mind going first.
Yeah, go ahead.
3,500 produced cases of this.
Right.
One,
so I'm drinking the 2015 vintage of Velvet Merkin Bourbon Barrel Aged Oatmeal Stout.
Can before you keep going, can we see all the years? Do you have 15? Which year do you have, Freddie?
I have 15 as well.
Okay, and you have the.
I have 13 here. The first release, the first time I did this.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Rennie.
So just like Ricky's, Ricky's was brewed in 2013, and they produced 3,500 cases.
Yeah, I'm
Mine,
curious to hear what yours says.
mine was produced in 20. This is a 2015, 3,500 cases. Right. So, I mean, it's not like they increased production on this, right? Clearly. But anyway, about this
I
particular
wonder why
beer.
that is. You would think they would increase, though. I mean,
Because real estate, I'm guessing. Real estate in the brewery, the fact that they got so many other beers that they have to
right. But
bourbon barrel age. What if they
do you
don't
think
have
that
the
when
room
they
for
start
expansion?
if they start this series and like, okay, the first year we're going to do 3,500, and then we're just going to, I mean, like, there's got to be the conversation, well, maybe we've got room next year or we've got less room. Like, do you change it year over year, or do you just
Who knows?
first release 3,500 and you're going to stay with 3,500?
Maybe they don't want to, man. Maybe they're like, you know what, these 3,500
Yeah.
always take off, and who
You're
knows?
going to
Like,
sell them.
I mean, yeah, it's something that there's gonna be a point where it's like, all right, we made 6,500 this time, and it's then there's a bunch sitting left over now, and
Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't have brew house capacity. Maybe they don't have the real estate to expand.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe
Gil said,
they-
I mean, barrels are this isn't the only thing they barrel age. So if you think about that, they need a lot of space for all these barrels and brews and barrels, dude.
And the price of barrels have probably gone up 50% since 2013. All right. So anyway,
remember the guy we interviewed that wrote the book about the can't remember his name. I'm so sorry, but he brewed at Firestone Walker, and he was telling us like how many breweries barrels they had it and stuff. But he was so impressed with Firestone Walker, and he went on and on and on, saying how impressive their barrel.
Was it Michael Tonsmeyer?
It was not the Michael Tonsmeyer. It was the guy before. I'll let you know in a moment.
Okay. So this beer, it's a bourbon barrel aged oatmeal stout. So upon picking this up and reading that, you immediately think you're gonna get a beer that has a lot of chewiness, gonna have some nice creamy mouthfeel going on to it. And as soon as I went to pour this beer in the glass, when the first drop came out of the bottle and hit the glass, I was like, this beer lacks body. I could tell by the way it was pouring that it lacked body. And
100%.
The flavor is good.
It's thin. It's really thin for what I would think of an oatmeal
Or an
stout.
oatmeal stout, yeah.
It tastes good, but the mouthfeel isn't where I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Usually, like with the oatmeal stout, I don't know if y'all can tell right now, but you see how fast it lets go of the glass.
Gone.
Like usually with an oatmeal stout, it kind of holds on to the side and doesn't want to let go of the side of the glass. This one just doesn't do that. It's not a knock on the flavor of the beer. The flavor is spot on in my opinion, but a large part of
that's what it should have been done.
Give it a little swirl, Linda. She's timid, but
she's afraid to spill now.
I can't spell it.
She's afraid of a game keyboard.
The flavor is spot on, and
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm big on body, especially when it comes with big beers.
Absolutely.
And that it's just not hitting on it for me. It tastes good, but I'm not getting the whole experience.
I want some chewy, especially oatmeal stouts. You want that?
Yeah, exactly.
Randy, at the back of the box says that you get flavors of chocolate truffle, bourbon, espresso, vanilla. Like, I'm not getting, like, I read that and then the description sounds so much better than the beer. Like, you're right, it's a good beer, it's got a good flavor, but for the price point, and
I don't get
so much
espresso. I don't get coffee, man. I get like almost like a cola. I get like a cola taste.
We speak about value. The value is not there for this beer this year. I'm Ricky. I don't know. I'm curious to see how you feel about the 2013.
So
I heard that beer needs resting.
Yeah, but that ain't gonna change the body.
No, the body in 13 it drinks like a lager. I mean, it's almost like if you blind taste test past the taste, you would be like, "What is this?" It tastes like a stout, but it's not. So I was looking at my comments when I had it fresh in 13, and it is definitely aged nicely. The flavor it's better. It's got more complexity, I think. Like I'm getting more as this sits on my palate, and the flavor is definitely better than what I remember. And one of the things that I said that I drank it too cold. Well, it's been sitting out for 45 minutes, so it's getting close. I mean, to 45, 50 degrees, which is where it should be. And like the aftertaste is a lot better than I remember. But going back to body, I mean, I could literally chug this and not think twice about it. And I think about these big beers and these limited release beers. They're barrel aged and they're big stouts. They should be more than 8.5%. Like, not that it's a bad thing that it's low, but I want it to be like 14, 15%. Like Stickee Monkee, I think it's double digits. And not that that's a bad thing, but as a craft beer guy, I'm looking at the ABV, and that's a shift that we're starting to see in craft beer. That because of price and the ability to brew beer that people drink at a lower ABV, they can brew the same amount and less. I mean, I get that, the whole session mentality, but the beer is, in my opinion, for coming in the pretty box and being hard to get and being a part of this series, it doesn't stack up to some of the others. And we were talking about cases, and I don't know if it's official, but at about 8-10 months ago, cases went from being 12 bottles to 6 bottles. So I'm curious, if they say 3,500 cases in 13 when there were 12 bottles a case, if 3,500 cases this year is half the number of bottles, because technically a case is half, I mean, it's 6 now. So does the brewing company look at a case as 12 still versus what shows up at a liquor store? I would love to know the answer to that, and I don't know if anybody knows the answer, but I look at and I base my opinions on brewing companies like a Firestone Walker because they release 15 different daily release beers, but they're known for their proprietors boxed series beers when they don't stack up like the Merkin. It's still 4.25 is what I rated it on Untapped, and it's a good beer, but I'm left wanting a little bit more.
Your expectations are a little bit higher. That's how I feel. I mean, I'll jump in because I'm drinking the same thing, the 2015 vintage, and I think Randy and Ricky got it spot on, and we're talking about two different, obviously, different vintages, and it's the same thing. It's just maybe it lacks the body. It's not to say, again, not to go back to what we're talking about. It's not to say that's a bad beer whatsoever. It's just maybe that your expectations are a little high. You see oatmeal stout, you see, like Ricky said, like the notes in it, what's the ingredients used and stuff, and you're just like, all right, this is going to be killer. I can't wait.
When you hear oatmeal stout, barrel aged, in a box, your expectation go very high, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely. A beer coming in a box create expectation as much
absolutely.
as a whole.
Of course. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have it, I'm like, and I was saying this all fair too. It's like we were talking about it lacks the body. It's the first thing you notice automatically. All right, it's a little thin. And for me, I'm like, all right, it's I don't get any a huge coffee. I get like almost like I think it could be because of the barrel aging and they made the vanilla in there. It's like a sweetness. It's almost like a cola to me, like something very sweet.
And now I taste cola. You said that now. I'm like, oh, that Coke. Awesome.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though. Here's the thing. I hate the fact that we come across as sounding like we're saying Firestone Walker is garbage, that they made this whack ass beer.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's still good. It's just like you set the bar so high, and then it doesn't hit like that high. You know what I mean? Like you're looking for a world record, and you're like, you come inches short of it. You have you're still up there. It's just not
right. So the bottom line for me is, in my many years of drinking craft beer, this is my first semi-disappointment from Firestone Walker. So that says a lot about them as a brewery, in my opinion.
All right. Well, I'm going to quick talk about my beer because I'm drinking a Saison and I don't want to get too warm. So I'm going to skip Linda. Sorry about that, Linda, but I'll come back to you right away. Yeah.
She got a glass full. She needs to drink. She got to drink it down anyway to give us a proper swirl.
Yeah. So, to this day, Double DBA is by far my most favorite beer. Is that proper grammar? Most favorite beer?
It is now, man.
It is. Thank you for
most favorite beer from Firestone Walker is Double DBA. I find that beer just amazing, complex, well done. It's everything that is right for a specific style. It's that beer. But today I'm having a beer which I'm really sad, La Piccola, which is one of the two of their saison they did, and this is a dark wild saison with peppercorn, and is it's aged for 12. Yeah, it's aged for 12 months in French oak, and just this became my favorite beer from Firestone Walker. Unfortunately, it's called Pepe de Chouan La Piccola, something like that. It's a one-off. It's brewed once only, which makes me really sad. Happy that I have one, but really sad. And they put on the bottles here. So brewed with Saison East, Brettanomyces lambicus, and Lactobacillus brevis. So they did there's like a book on the label here. Now this beer, there's no doubt that they use peppercorn in it. You get the peppercorn right away through. Smells delicious and tastes delicious as well.
It's a dark saison apparently.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's the darkest saison I've ever
This
seen.
This style is a dark wild saison, and I think the peppercorn kind of adds a little bit to it.
I wonder how they did that. Like if they put peppercorn in secondary, or if they threw some in the boil, or that'd be interesting to find out how you.
Yeah, for a saison.
They may have used genome peppercorns, which are known for dying, but they still have that heavy, peppery, spicy taste.
Well, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Well, not kidding, but I'm just saying.
No, it's Sichuan peppercorn that they use in this beer. Sichuan is a kind of peppercorn.
From the Sichuan province of China.
Maybe they also used a different one. They don't have to put everything they used in it.
Well, I don't know. That's what they did. But you get a little bit of a vanilla, which is interesting for a saison. And I probably it's from the French oak, which French oak is it's not as aggressive as American oak. American oak, and you get the big full body flavors from the oak. French oaks are normally a little more undertone, kind of a little more soft to the flavor, but you get it all the way through. It's very carbonated. It was much more carbonated before, and the beer just, man, I didn't know I like peppercorn in a beer, and I realized I love it. Man, it's amazing. Yeah, this is an amazing beer that they.
That can't be the first time you've had peppercorn in a beer, is it, Gil?
It is for me. I've never had it in beer.
I consciously that I know that I can taste it, because I might have in beers that I didn't. There's more spices, other stuff that I didn't get it through. The big thing about for me in this beer that the peppercorn comes through in a very nice way, because peppercorn is not spicy. Just it's a very undertone spiciness to it. It's not like heat spice, and that's what makes it so nice and flavorful. It's very, very complex beer.
I'm pretty sure I had a pink peppercorn saison.
Yeah, I don't know who makes it, but I've had a pink peppercorn saison.
This Friday night hangout brought to you by Craft Beer Nation Pints and Quarts. Be sure to tune into Pints and Quarts episode number 46, where we discuss craft brewing and Firestone Walker with David Walker.
I really thought you were going to say sponsored by peppercorns or something.
A little quick shameless plug there. That's all.
Yeah, no.
From this point forward, you have to do that in every episode at just some random time. Drop it in.
Yeah, make sure. Make sure to go back and watch our interview with David Walker. Very sober on not on the drinking.
What?
Very sober.
Doesn't drink his own beer.
That was horrible. Yeah, that was
one of the few sober people we've had on this show.
Very sober guy until the end. No, but you know, like we talk to brewers, and they normally dreamer, and not so much the achievement. He is a amazing brewer with a very business-like kind of mindset as we talked to him. Very, very. I mean, very. His comments and everything about breweries and how to do business. It's. I thought that he was a great guest. Worth
Yeah,
trying.
yeah, definitely. Episode 46, Pints and Quarts. YouTube and Stitcher and podcasts. I mean iTunes. Yeah.
I'm getting a little.
Stick it
So
in
yeah.
Google,
So
you'll find it.
drink. You probably won't be able to find that beer anymore, but yeah, it's amazing. There's thyme, there's lemongrass, there's everything in this beer. It's just awesome.
Linda, what are you drinking?
What you drinking?
The first time I ever had this Wookey Jack
Good
Black
stuff.
IPA. It
That's
was the
the
first
only-
time. The first time I ever had this was at Beer 30. I had a taste of it. It was the first time I ever had a black IPA, and oh my god, I fell in love with it.
It's one of the best of the style.
Leonard, that's not just a black IPA. It's a black IPA with rye.
Exactly, and I think it was the
Black
rye.
rye.
It was the rye that made it. I mean, I had rye beers before, but they were always, I don't know, it's kind of too much for me, and I was kind of wussy about it.
The rye in that's really muted, in my opinion.
Really? I like it. Now,
For what I
say-
expect out of a rye beer, I want rye.
See,
Like, I
that's-
want.
it's nice lacing, and the aroma off it is fabulous. Like, great. I smell the rye in it. It's great.
Yeah, that's
That-
one of the few black IPAs that I really like.
And I hate to have to say this 21st Amendment, but Firestone Walker has blown Back in Black right out of the water.
Stone has one coming out too, Linda, and Enjoy by Black. November, yeah.
Oh,
Dark Penance, I think, just started. Their founders.
That beer is unfiltered as well. So
and that's one of the things that actually convinced me to try it because I love unfiltered beers. Love unfiltered beers.
I think the thing I like about that beer, Linda, is that even though it's a black IPA, usually with black IPAs you get a whole lot of roastiness, but for some reason I think that maybe it's the addition of the rye that kind of focuses away from the roastiness so much, but the hops still come through really well in that beer.
The hops do come through, and I know there's Magnum and Amarillo in
Amarillo.
in Wookey Jack. The hops come through very nicely, and they're not overwhelming.
Amarillo. For all the Russell Peters fans out there, caught that joke.
I'm with Randy. It's no secret that I'm not saying I hate. I'm just not fond of black IPAs.
Holy cow.
It's a style that most
Where's
time.
Steven?
Whoa!
Holy
Look, this is
cow.
Live.
Everyone, quiet.
Stop the presses.
I was like, what are you guys talking about? And I look up and like, oh,
Yeah.
him.
Boris. It's about 6 in the morning where Boris lives.
He's in Mars.
Yeah, he's
Let him
in
talk.
Mars.
There's a slight delay.
He was the person that The Martian was based off of. Based off a true story. Did you guys know that?
You see, that's why he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it till tomorrow.
He's well, in any case, I agree with Randy. This is a well done black IPA. I'm not very fond of black IPA. There are a few that I like. I like what's our friends from New Mexico?
Santa Fe.
Santa Fe Brewing does a great black IPA. There are a few that I like,
That's
but I don't.
so good.
Most of the time, it's hard. I don't like most of them. But
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm
yeah.
going with black
And
IPAs.
it's one of the few black IPAs that I actually buy it.
Definitely, if you're wondering what a black IPA should be like, definitely Firestone Walker is one you should pick up.
Absolutely.
Anybody else?
Nope. I'm still drinking my Velvet Merkin.
Yeah, me
I
too.
mean, even though the beer lacks body, I'm still not trying to slam it because I mean it still tastes good. I mean, I can't take that away from them. They probably just should have put some. Maybe the price of oatmeal went up along with the price of bourbon barrels. Couldn't put as many in or something else.
Yeah, well, I have the normal version of that beer.
Class.
Which
And
I think is as good, if not
Yeah,
better.
and that's a 2014. I have it. I found it on the back there. For some, I like how they put like was bottle on 9, 18, 14, 7, 11, 7, 11. It's like they have the time on the.
Yeah.
But this beer, I mean, this beer is. I'm surprised. There's tons of chocolate in this beer, and I thought. Did you get a lot of chocolate on the marking as well? Like.
So
Subdued, maybe.
yeah, subdued. It's not a bland beer. I mean, I contrary to Ricky and Freddie, I kind of get a little bit of everything that they said. That's on the back of the box. I get a little bit of everything, but not a.
I just don't get too much coffee. That's all I get. I get a lot of bourbon. I'm getting like as this thing is warmed up, the bourbon notes are really coming through, and I think some of the sweet notes as well.
I agree with you 100%. Not everything except for the coffee. You're right.
Yeah.
Maybe on the you get coffee on the very end of the finish.
See, I get coffee and chocolate all the way through, quite a lot. It's kind of a mix of both, but coffee is more prominent, definitely, on this beer. Again, yeah, I never thought about the body, but you're right. It's not a very thick beer for an oatmeal.
Wait, which one is that, Gil?
Yes, a regular.
I have the
velvet.
Merlin, which is
Merlin.
the normal version from Merkin.
Okay.
Merkin is a barrel aged.
Ricky says that beer kills Merkin.
I don't know.
In my opinion, night and day better.
Wait a minute, Merlin.
I think
The Merlin's better than the Merkin.
Yeah, Merlin is Merkin is Merlin barrel aged. I mean,
Okay.
technically, without getting into the weeds.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's very coffee forward with.
See, the barrel takes all the coffee out of Merkin.
Okay, yeah, it's very coffee forward, but with a lot of chocolate mix in that flavorful and that flavor, and but it's extremely easy to drink. It's not a beer that you take a sip and you have to breathe. It's a really well-rounded, really well-done beer.
I will say that I get more chocolate in the nose of Merkin than the flavor.
Gil, can we get a swirl, homie?
Oh yeah.
Don't be timid with it either.
Over.
Swirl like you mean it, bro.
Yeah, it doesn't lace. It fade. The lacing comes out right away. It doesn't. You don't get that nice.
That's better than Merkin.
Yeah, Linda's the only one that's leaving like a true lacing.
None.
Yeah, it's I like it that has I like beers that have the small bubbles of air on the foam. Normally it gives a little more creamy taste, and I wonder if that's the result of the oatmeal. And you can see the head's still there, but I have to say though, normally a thin body would bother me a lot because I like big body on a beer, but this
And
beer
you cannot lie.
and I cannot lie. But yeah, in this beer, actually, it's not.
Oh, man.
I mean, I wish there was more body to it, but it's not a detriment to the beer itself.
Yeah, it still tastes good, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's Boris has had a couple, 2 or 3 beers from Firestone Walker. I don't imagine they get over to Germany a whole lot. I'm going to kind of keep talking to give Boris a chance to take himself off mute so I can kind of roll this right on over into him to get his opinion as he is still sitting back on his couch as if he does not hear me saying that I'm trying to get him to take himself off mute so that he can talk. But, okay, there you go. Boris, what are your thoughts on Firestone Walker as a brewery, man.
I'm waiting for you to finish, ass.
I'm saying,
He was just milking you as much as he
I'm
could.
saying, do you have like a
Hey.
do you have like a Bluetooth mute button? Because you were like sitting
Yeah, that was quick.
I was
I
impressed.
called this technology the military developed like 30 years ago. It's called a mouse.
Mouse.
I thought it was Xerox that invented the mouse, but that's fine.
Nah, Xerox made the copier. Come on.
Duh.
No, I've had a. Believe it or not, Firestone Walker gets distributed out here to Germany.
What?
Yeah, they send out California Pale, the one with the little state on it.
Mm-hmm.
31 Pale, it might be
Oh
called.
yeah,
Oh,
31.
yeah, Pale 31, yeah.
Yeah.
What else do they send out here? Double Jack, and
Easy Jack.
Union
They
Jack?
don't send Easy Jack. They don't send Union Jack. It's Double Jack, and that's it. Those are the only two I've had before I came out here. I've had Wookey, which honestly ranks. It's pretty much tied with the best black IPA I've ever had.
Yeah. Which is
Wookey was who was
Santa
best.
Who's the best?
Santa Fe.
The other one is Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Subliminally Righteous from Stone used to be my
Yeah.
favorite black IPA.
It's pretty good.
And then I discovered Santa Fe, and then Stones disappeared because to me it couldn't even come close. And then I had Wookey, and I had a Wookey that was like 6 months old,
And it was still hitting.
and I was like, oh yeah, that thing was potent. It was like I drank Chewbacca's sweat, man. It was crazy.
That damn good.
Go ahead. Did you get it, Randy? I was waiting. I was milking you, waiting for you to take that sip. No, but yeah, we get it out here. I had a Double Jack last year before I went off to Qatar, because the grocery store locally got this huge end cap of a craft brewer here in Germany called Factorum, and that brewery is also a distributor. So they brought in Brooklyn and Firestone Walker and a bunch of the Palm breweries, like Palm, the
yeah.
Boone.
I've never had anything from them.
I would seek out their sours, their lambics, their creeks, their gooses. Get those. Don't get Palm is. I think Palm is like a lager. It's like a Belgian lager.
Word.
I mean, pass on that. It's not gonna be anything that's gonna blow your mind as far as like a lager.
You get brew dogs in Germany, right? They have a one that I had. I like it. I think it's called Libertine. I think that's the name of their black IPA, which is pretty good too.
So, but yeah, we get it. I just didn't.
What are your overall thoughts on them as a brewery?
On the brewery, I haven't had. Out of those 3 beers, I haven't had a single bad beer.
Right.
I mean, I even as simple as Pale 31, it was like what a session IPA is trying to be from a lot of breweries.
Mm-hmm.
Because not a lot of breweries can make a session IPA right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
i.e. a pale ale.
You know, I'll tell you this: when I go to a new brewery, I don't judge them based on their IPA. I know Gil judges them based on I think Gil said he judges brewers based on their lagers, but if they don't have a lager, if you're gonna be successful, you gotta have a good IPA, right? I kind of judge you based off of your pale ale because that's a little bit more technical of a beer, I think, to make. I mean, it's a little bit more finesse, I think. So I
should say I judge them on their lighter beers because it's much easier to find flaws in a beer that you make a big stout. It's a lot of complexity. You can throw stuff in there to get it right, but you get a pilsner, you get even an American lager, or if you don't get it right, you just there's no
high beer. Exactly. Yep.
I wanted to try their Pivo Pills when I came back in August.
It's
good.
incredible, man. And look at
and
me.
They win awards year over year because that beer is legit.
And Randy's saying a lager is incredible, so that's
Exactly.
Well, I mean, if you look into what they stick in it, I mean,
That's
they
what she said.
basically bitter it like with hops that aren't normally in a pilsner, but they make it work.
Yeah.
With the exception, they're using a newer German hop, Sapphire, which
Okay.
I believe I have in the freezer.
So you
I
think
think
you're better than
I
us?
was, huh?
You think you're better than us now?
No, I got it offline, man. Anybody can get it offline.
Sapphire hops in the
Oh.
freezer.
Oh, okay. That's expensive.
So, but yeah, like they took a ridiculously traditional style and seriously put it on its opposite end and just took it how America does everything. You know what I mean? Make it bigger,
Yeah.
and they succeeded. They succeeded. From what I understand, because everywhere I read about it, everyone loves this beer.
Right.
What does the La Cumbre make a pilsner that I want to try, and I couldn't find anywhere. Isn't that what you had?
Uh,
What's
I don't
good?
think they can it. I think it's draft only.
Oh, okay. I was trying to
Um,
remember the name. I know somebody told me if you want to try a pilsner, you should try La Cumbre. But
I think they only can and bottle like 7 beers out of their entire lineup, and the Pilsner isn't one.
okay, that make that. Well, that answers why I couldn't find it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't know where in New Mexico you went.
No, I actually didn't go to New Mexico. I asked somebody to
Oh,
get me some.
gotcha.
Yeah. Because
Well, I
Randy
know,
came like candy with arms load of La Cumbre, never shared. So I was trying to find somebody who could send me some.
Nope. Didn't share a damn bit.
Who
well, I
didn't?
know the. I know
Vicky
you
didn't
guys.
share?
Me.
Oh, you.
Well, I know you guys. You guys are stating specific styles that you base your decisions off how good a brewery is. But generally, I base it off the aroma of any beer that I'm having. It better smell pretty bloody good. It better have an aroma, because without the aroma, the taste is nothing.
I'll give you that.
But I had good smelling beer that didn't didn't live up to the smell though. It's
That's true, but
I guess
the
you have to
aroma
have
is the
everything, right?
first thing the aroma is the first thing I encounter. So if I don't smell
Right.
anything, my taste buds aren't going to expect anything.
That's true.
That's even their regular offering of Union Jack. Still, from the very first time you open the can, from the very first time you pour it in the glass, you get you get that lovely IPA scent to it right before you take that sip. It's really nice.
I had a Pliny yesterday, and the same thing goes for a Heady Topper. I think where those beers thrive, and I think that's the big thing about Trillion right now, is like, I mean,
Watch what you're gonna say.
you put your head on the glass, it's just amazing. No, I'm saying that's
Yeah,
where
I'm
those
just fine.
breweries.
Yeah, of
I
course,
mean,
yeah.
like Heady Topper, Pliny, those beers. One thing they have going for them is just the aroma is just amazing. You could like spend
Mhm.
some time before even
Yeah.
think about drinking those beers.
And also with Trillium, I think they I know we're getting a little bit off topic here, but real quick, Trillium, I think they brew their beers a little dry, so it kind of makes you want to take another sip, and before you know it, you just smash like 750, and you're like, wait, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you
Yeah,
haven't
but
had
you know
it,
what? But if the beer tastes really good, you're gonna say, "Man, I'm going back for more of that." Boom, they've
right?
got another sale right there.
I don't want to brag, but I just got 4 bottles of Trillium yesterday, so just putting it out there.
I mean, I know. I know. I'm going back for at least another 6-pack of this.
Yeah, that's a solid one, Linda. That
It's
and their Easy Jack.
Yeah, they have the multi-pack, and it's far more likely that I'm going to buy more because it smells good and it tastes good, it's clean, it's delightful, and I can drink it all day.
Next time you start a fire, burn that shirt. We
What?
don't support Rogue.
It's the most comfortable shirt I own.
I don't care.
I don't necessarily like Rogue, but it's a comfortable shirt. I'll wear it whenever I bloody well please.
I
I
don't want to brag to Gil, but I think I got you beat.
Oh, you do.
I think I just got you beat with a case.
Ooh.
They didn't get any upper case. They didn't get it. They didn't get me any upper case. Well, my boss's sister lives in Boston now.
All right, let's not talk about that here.
Yeah.
We don't. Let's not incriminate nobody.
Well, why don't we just let's wrap this up. Let's quick do a rundown. Boris, Firestone Walker. Less thoughts.
I think it's probably a top 10 brewery in my book. Even though I don't get to have a lot of their stuff, and the stuff that I do get here is two of the same. But they're fantastic. So, and I see their acquisition, not really an acquisition, but their future plans. I don't see it as a bad thing. I think it's great. It's only going to make them better. So.
Agreed. Randy.
Boris said top 10 for him. For me, top 5. Wow. That said after we just got through kicking Velvet Merkin in the nuts. That I'm saying that happened, and I still consider them to be a top 5 brewery for me, just because of their consistency and how well they brew beers that are kind of like we were talking about beers where you don't have much to hide behind. So Easy Jack, the Pale 31, the Union Jack, how well they brew those beers, that's a testament to who they are as a brewery, and also how their big bottle format series, how they normally come across, with the exception of this Velvet Merkin that I'm having tonight. So that said, definitely easy. Top 5 or top 6 for me for sure.
All right, so Doug is heating there. So Freddie.
I'm not gonna give him a number rating. What I'll say is this: that even though some people, we may have said that Velvet Merkin fell short for us, when you can say it's still really damn good. They make an enormous amount of different style beers, which are all good. Like no one says, "Oh, this Firestone Walker, this is crap." You know what I mean? You don't hear that. So that being said, that goes to show you that even they, you know what I mean? They do all these different things. They do all of it really, really damn good.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to say that Velvet Merkin's like it's okay or it's not as good as you thought it was going to be is no knock whatsoever, because it's still like hella good. It might be a lot better than a lot of other malt meal stouts out there. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Linda.
Yeah, total top brewery, and they can call me to visit anytime they want. Anytime.
Sounds good. Ricky.
So it's a great brewing company, and it's great because everything they release, whether it's a Pivo Pils or it's a limited release thing they put in a box that's limited that we can't get, and the consistency is what I judge a brewing company off of. And even if I may not like their beers as much as others, and I may not fall over trying to get these boxed releases or whatever, they're always a good go-to consistent brewing company, and that says a lot about the quality of the brewing company. And I've never had a bad beer from them, and that's hard to do. And to the team at Firestone and what they're doing, bravo, keep doing it, and I look forward to the next beer that I've not had from them, and cheers.
absolutely.
For me, I like Firestone is the same reason I like
Founders.
my friends from Founders and Surly. I can name a bunch of breweries here that it's easy. I think there's many breweries who make amazing beers, but there's only a limited amount of breweries that making couple dozen of beers that are amazing. So it's I think that's goes for Firestone Walker. It's like their portfolio is very well done, very well rounded, and that's why I love them. And with that said, I guess we all love Firestone and Walker. We're gonna wrap up. Join us next week for Randy's favorite beer style. We're celebrating pumpkin beers.
Yay!
And I won't be here. I'll be out of town. Yes.
So I have a few
can't wait.
pumpkins. Yeah, I'm not drinking Rumpkin this year, but yeah, join us next week for pumpkin beers. Make sure to check our show Pints and Quarts every Thursday, 9:30 p.m. live, or you can go to our YouTube channel and watch later on.
9:30 Eastern.
9 Eastern Standard. Yes, right. Or you can get our podcast on Stitcher. We are on Google Plus, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the good places that the social media offers. So thanks for joining us, everybody, all the 3 viewers, and we see you again next week. Have a great night.
Cheers, everyone.
Awesome.
Well,
Cheers.
Cheers.